Today I'm in Fraserburgh. I'm on my travels. Fraserburgh, or the Broch as it's known locally, is in Aberdeenshire in the northeast of Scotland. It's very windswept here. You'll see I'm standing on a golden sand beach, lovely fine sand, and it stretches for miles. You might also see that there's someone, a brave hardy soul, trying to surf in the background. We're going to walk around the edge of the town. We'll start off at the beach here, move on to the harbour, and then finish up at the cliffs and the lighthouse on the other edge. Let's go! I'm proud to say that Fraserburgh is where I was born. I never lived here, but my family lived in the country near here, and this town had the nearest maternity hospital. The town is blessed with a gorgeous sandy beach, a beautiful harbour, a fishing industry, and it's on a stretch of wonderful coastline dotted with picturesque villages. This is a very popular beach for surfing and windsurfing, and you can see why. This is a calm day in June and you've still got some quite powerful waves. The beauty of the beaches in the northeast of Scotland is the golden sand, clean sea and fresh North Sea air. Unless it's a height of summer, they're generally too cold for swimming, but they're wonderful for long, blow away the cobwebs walks. While I'm on the beach, I'm lucky enough to see a fishing boat heading into the harbour. I shouldn't be surprised. It's very busy and is the home port for some very large fishing boats, as we'll see later. My challenge today has been stopping my tripod from blowing over in the wind and trying to change lenses inside my camera bag to stop sand blowing into them. I wouldn't try that again. It's a little bit risky, and in future if I wanted to use two lenses, I think I would bring two camera bodies. When I haven't been to the beach for a while, I forget how lovely it is to hear the sound of the sea and watch the never-ending pattern of waves and tide. Even the part where you get caught by a larger wave than usual and accidentally get your shoes wet makes me laugh out loud. You can have a huge amount of space to yourself on this beach. Apart from the solitary surfer I saw earlier, there are only a few walkers and some with dogs. Once you've walked a little way from the town, you're likely to have miles of solitude, a luxury you're unlikely to find in London unless you're an exceptionally early riser. Sadly, it's time for me to leave the beach and move on, and there's just time left for some writing in the sand and a few photos from the promenade, and next I'll head on to the harbour. How lucky that I've arrived in time to see a boat land. The sun is fully out now and there's a clear blue sky. If you're ever stuck for photo inspiration, I would say head for your nearest harbour. There's a riot of colour everywhere. Unlike a marina, which is lovely in itself but is usually full of rows of white boats, fishing boats are usually painted in beautiful bright colours, and you're likely to find at quayside there's all sorts of coloured ropes, creels, rails and buildings. Older harbours are also generally made up of interesting stonework, which makes a good photo in itself. If you're not familiar with the UK boat registration system, I can tell you that this boat is registered in the Scottish West Coast port of Oban. You can tell that by the letters OB, as part of the OB 956 you can see painted on the side of the boat. Any boats from Fraserburgh will start FR, and you'll see a lot of those as we tour around the harbour. Others you might spot are UL for Ullapool, BF for Banff and PD for Peterhead. The next boat we'll see is marked LK from Lerwick in the Shetland Islands, and the blue and white flag painted on the side is the flag of Shetland. It's in the same colour as the flag of Scotland, but is in the form of the Nordic cross to symbolise Shetland's historical and cultural ties with Scandinavia. The harbour has a ship lift and dry dock, which is great for giving us a completely different perspective of the boats. What I love about Fraserburgh is that it's compact enough to walk easily around its coastline. In one of these photos you can see small boats through to large, the harbour sheds, the town buildings, and right at the top, the lighthouse, all in one photo. It's great to see someone working hard. That looks like a satisfying job. Do you think he gets a feeling of pride seeing boats all freshened up and looking their best going back in the water? You'll see a photo of the ship inn coming up in a minute, and I gave it a freshen up paint job courtesy of Photoshop, and yes, I found it very satisfying. Now we come to the part of the dock housing the largest boats of the fleet. They're so sleek and with such clean lines, they could be liners. It's time to leave the harbour behind, and I'm going to keep heading north, and next stop for me will be the Lighthouse. From where I'm now standing, I can look in one direction and see the harbour and the Harbour Lighthouse, and in the other direction I can now see the main lighthouse, the Kinnaird Head Lighthouse. This lighthouse was Scotland's first. In 1787 it started its life with a giant lamp placed on top of the existing castle. That wasn't robust enough, so the engineer Robert Stevenson built a lighthouse into the structure of the castle, and that was finished in 1824. The lighthouse is now part of the really good Lighthouse Museum. I've been there a few times, and if you ever come to Fraserburgh, it's well worth a visit. There's so much to see. I'm not going to the museum today though. I've spent so much time taking photos and videos today that it's now early evening and the weather is the best it's been all day, so I'm just going to appreciate the stunning scenery around the lighthouse and enjoy the warm June night. Now it's time to choose my favourite photos of the day, and the first one is the heart on the beach. The second is one of the waves with the village in the background. The third is the bench on the promenade, just because I love the mix of primary colours. Number 4 is one of 2 boats in the harbour. Number 5 is one of the nets and the buoys with the boats and the dramatic sky in the background. Number 6 is the clover with the drying poles as bouquet in the background. And finally, I've gone for 7 this week. There were so many to choose from, and that's the lighthouse. And my overall favourite this week is the lighthouse, set against that brilliant blue sky and with the drying poles in the foreground. But to break precedent, I also have a runner-up, which is the clover, because it sums up for me the feeling of being in that place at that time. The blue of the sky, the smell of the grass, the sound of the sea, and the promise of a long, warm, light Scottish evening ahead. If you liked the video, give it a like, hit the red subscribe button, click the bell to be notified about my future videos because we've got some great stuff coming up over the summer. I hope you have a great week. Bye!